All right, so the outcome of meiosis, right, are 4 daughter cells. They are haploid, so they have half the chromosome number, and they are not identical. They're not identical because of the crossing over and because of the alignment, the random alignment in metaphase 1. So if we're going to review, meiosis, production of gametes or the sex cells, okay? There's meiosis 1, where is it? Meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. Prophase 1 meiosis 1 is a biggie because the homologous chromosomes, it's chromosome 1 from mom, chromosome 1 from dad, get together, and then they swap some genetic information that's called crossing over. Then metaphase 1, the chromosomes line up, but it's the homologous chromosomes that line up. Anaphase 1, it's the homologous chromosomes that get separated. Then telophase. Then no DNA replication between meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. And now in meiosis 2, it's just like mitosis, but it's happening in 2 cells. The chromosomes, now if you look, see how it's dark blue and light blue, light green, dark green, because that crossing over happened earlier, okay? And the chromosomes made out of sister chromatids line up at the middle in metaphase 2. Anaphase 2, the homologous chromosome, the sister chromatids are separated. And then telophase, okay? So 4 daughter cells, they're haploid and they're not identical. All right, so meiosis in animals occurs only in gamete-producing cells, so the ovaries and the testes. It's preceded by DNA replication, consists of 2 rounds of cellular division, one in which the homologous pairs of sister chromatids separate, and second in which the sister chromatids separate. Final product is 4 haploid gametes. All right. In reality, the way male and female gametes separate is a little different. Again, this is a real picture of an egg and a sperm. And the definition of male, the definition of female. Now, people, we're not talking about gender, we're talking about sex. Males make sperm, females make eggs. And the definition of an egg is the larger gamete. The definition of the sperm is a smaller gamete. So here, the definition of male versus female is always the same. Females produce the larger gametes, male produce a smaller, more motile sperm. Gamete development, in reality, it's a little different. You don't have to worry about that. I'm just gonna crossing over, very important because it creates those variations. So it's like when you make your eggs, chromosome 1 from your dad, chromosome 1 from your mom. When you make your eggs, some of the eggs might have all of the chromosome 1 from your dad, or a little bit of dad or mom, a little bit of mom and dad, or all of mom. It's completely, totally random. And that's what creates that genetic variation. It says, although it doesn't create new versions, or not new versions, it's just new combinations. Crossing over during the first prophase creates gametes with combination of traits that may never have existed before. This variation is important for evolution. Right now means nothing to you. When we get into evolution, you'll understand. So here's this cat, this mother cat with all these kittens, and look how different they are. They all came from the same mom, and that's because of meiosis. And meiosis happened when she made her eggs. Meiosis happened when her mate made his sperm. So this is an important slide here. These are 3 ways in which new genetic possibilities can happen. The crossing over, and then the random alignment of the homologous chromosomes, like is it the light green, dark green, or is it the dark green, light green, and the way they split. And then fertilization, like which egg and which sperm get together, that creates variation also. All right, so So sexual reproduction advantages. So sexual reproduction can be really dangerous. Like trying to find a mate can be dangerous. If you're a frog making calls, that's alerting the predators. It's hard to find a mate. You have to have gifts sometimes to find a mate. Yes, birds do this. So what is the advantage? Well, the advantage is this genetic variation. So combination of alleles from two parents at fertilization, that creates variation. Crossing over, doing the production of gametes, that creates variation. And the shuffling and reassortment of the homologous chromosomes. Okay, so that's an important, like if we say, how does sexual reproduction produce variation? These are the, in the offspring, these are the 3 ways. All right, so bacteria reproduce asexually. Which is better method? Better is relative, yes. And actually, bacteria can have sex. We could talk about that later. Sexual reproduction, disadvantages. It can be dangerous. Look at this spider, right? A black widow. What does she do to her mate after mating? She kills him, okay? That's dangerous for the male. Yes. It says only half of the individual alleles may be passed on. It takes time and energy. It can be risky. There are opportunities for mistakes. Asexual reproduction. The advantages are it's quick and fast. You can make millions of bacteria, but then there isn't that much variation. Okay. So sex differences. So what makes males and what makes females? In our chromosomes, the 23 pairs we got from mom and 23 we got from dad, the last pair are called the sex chromosomes. And if you get an X and an X, you become female. If you get an X and a Y, you become male. So we are genetically programmed. Again, we're talking about sex. We're not talking about gender. Yeah, we're genetically programmed to make eggs or make sperm. Okay. So who determines the sex of the baby? Is it mom or dad? Well, oh, these are the sex chromosomes. Here's the X, look how big it is, and here's the Y. Well, if mom has 2 X's, and if dad is XY, who determines the sex of the baby? Dad. Because dad has X and Y. Mom only has X and X. So when she makes her eggs, one of her eggs is going to have X and the other egg is going to have X. Yeah. So mom, when she makes her eggs, half will have X, half will have X. But dad, since the definition of dad is XY, half his sperm will have X, half his sperm will have Y. So dad is, how is sex determined? When dad, depending if he gives the X and mom gives an X, the baby's a girl. But if dad gives a Y and mom gives an X, the baby's going to be a boy. Not all animals do it this way. Kind of interesting. In birds, okay, the female is the one that has the 2 different sex chromosomes. So it's the female who determines the sex of the baby, okay? With ants, bees, wasps, the female is diploid, the male is haploid. So that's different. Now this one's super wild. With reptiles, temperature can affect the eggs. Are they going to be, or the embryos, are they going to be female and male? How the heck can temperature have any effect? Well, the temperature can turn on or not turn on certain genes that will affect the growth of the embryo. So it says, in most turtles, sex is determined by temperature at which the egg is incubated. Because if you remember, they lay eggs in the soil, and depending on the temperature, certain genes are turned on or not, and then the batch of eggs, of embryos become male or they become female. So if it's warmer, they become female. If it's not, they become male. What? Yes. So, yes. Okay. So they talk about that. And I'm going to skip that. Okay. So can errors happen in meiosis, in creating eggs and sperm? I'm going to say it again. Can errors happen? The answer is yes, of course they can. This is called a karyotype. It's showing the chromosomes of a person. So this is chromosome 1 chromosome 1 from his mom, chromosome 1 from his dad, chromosome 2, chromosome 2, chromosome 3 from mom, chromosome 3 from dad. There's 23 pairs. But what if mistakes happen? It can influence the baby, yes? So Down syndrome, okay, it's called trisomy. What's tri? 3. The baby gets an extra chromosome at the 21st area. And usually, if there's extra chromosomes or less chromosomes, it usually spells death to the embryo, okay? But sometimes the embryo survives. So Down syndrome is an example of that. And it's linked to mom's age because mom, she will have all the eggs she'll ever have since she's a baby. And so she's exposed to all these environmental factors that can actually affect her eggs. And yeah, so karyotype, right? We could see, okay, the chromosomes. We could do what's called an amniocentesis. If you look, this person, this technician is doing an ultrasound. You can see the ultrasound. You could see the syringe with a needle. They can actually take some of the fluid that's around the baby, and then they could do a karyotype. They could look at the chromosomes to see if there are any genetic abnormalities. But this is, of course, please, nobody can ever make you do anything medically, right? They have to have your consent. And then some moms opt not to do it because what does that mean? If something's wrong with the baby, are they going to have the baby or not, right? Chorionic villi sampling, that's another way to test for genetic screening. Here is a person with Down syndrome, and if you look, okay, so here's chromosome 1 from mom, 1 from dad, 2 from mom, 2 from dad. The 21st pair, there's an extra chromosome. So from the outside, the person looks a little different, but the thing is, from the inside, they're a little different too. So that extra chromosome causes some abnormalities. So it causes abnormalities in the nervous system, it causes abnormalities in the cardiovascular system. Because remember, those chromosomes are like our manual for making the person. So if we have extra, if we have less, it causes problems. So how can that happen? Well, in meiosis, what if the chromosomes don't split correctly? If the chromosomes don't split correctly, then we have extra chromosomes in the egg, and that could be resulting in genetic abnormalities. Yes, life is possible with too many or too few sex chromosomes. Most of the time, it doesn't work out. Believe it or not, genetic abnormalities are a reason for a lot of, miscarriages, right? They say, there's a textbook that says like 50% of fertilization, where the egg and the sperm meet, 50% of fertilizations end up in miscarriage. And the reason why is genetic abnormalities, okay? But sometimes, right, the baby could still survive. So here, if there are too many or too few, if a baby has XY, what's it going to become? Is it going to become male or female? It's going to become female because it has the X. Remember, it needs the Y to become male, okay? If it's XXY, is it going to become male or female? It has the Y, so it's going to be male. But male, not without some issues, right? It says underdeveloped testes, lower testosterone, usually infertile, meaning they can't make sperm. Develop some female features, long limbs, okay? XYY, okay? Double Y chromosomes. They're called like super males. Taller than average, moderate severe acne, intelligence may be slightly lower than average. Here, XXX, they're called super females, meta females, maybe sterile, right? Because again, having the extra chromosome causes problems. No obvious physical, mental problems. So, yes, so different examples. All right, you guys, we are done with this chapter. There was a lot to go through. What's wonderful is, you can always stop, rewind, etc. Please be sure, I hope you've done your homework as you go. All right, see you in lab. Bye.